the eerie glow of my laptop screen, I ventured into the realm of online dating. With each swipe, I hoped to find a connection amidst the digital sea of profiles. Fate seemed to intervene when I stumbled upon a captivating profile. A handsome, enigmatic man named Alex. His profile exuded intelligence and a subtle hint of mystery. His eyes sparkled with an unspoken allure, drawing me in like a moth to a flickering flame. After exchanging a few promising messages, we arranged to meet at a cozy cafe. Upon arriving, my heart pounded with anticipation. As Alex emerged from the shadows, I was struck by his uncanny resemblance to the man in his profile photo. He was even more handsome in person, with a disarming smile that lit up his face. Conversation flowed effortlessly, revealing a shared love for literature, art, and our mutual passion for exploring the unknown. As the sun began to set, casting an ethereal glow over the cafe, I felt an undeniable connection with Alex. But beneath the alluring facade, a sinister undercurrent began to emerge. As we walked to our cars, Alex's demeanor shifted. His eyes narrowed, his voice grew cold and distant. Without warning, he grabbed my arm and pulled me towards his car. Fear surged through my veins as I struggled to break free. His grip was like iron, dragging me into the darkness. I screamed for help, but my cries were swallowed by the night. Inside his car, Alex's true nature was revealed. His eyes burned with an unholy fire, his smile twisted into a cruel sneer. He spoke in a low, menacing voice, his words dripping with venom. "You thought I was different?" he hissed. "All men are the same, liars and deceivers. I'll show you what real horror is." With trembling hands, he pulled a knife from his pocket. Its sharp blade glinted in the dim light, sending shivers down my spine. I closed my eyes, bracing myself for the inevitable. But to my astonishment, the blade never struck. Instead, I heard a metallic clang as the knife fell to the ground. Alex let out a guttural cry and stumbled backward, clutching his head. In that moment, the cafe lights flickered into life, casting an eerie glow over the scene. As I opened my eyes, I saw a group of people rushing towards us. They had heard my cries and come to my rescue. Alex was apprehended, and I was taken to the hospital for examination. As I lay in my bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had escaped a nightmare. The man I had thought was my perfect match had turned out to be a monster. In the aftermath of that terrifying night, I realized that online dating was a treacherous game. Behind the carefully crafted profiles lurked unknown horrors. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Never trust a stranger who seems too good to be true, for even in the digital realm, evil can wear a charming disguise. In the eerie glow of my laptop screen, I embarked on a perilous journey into the realm of online dating. Swiping left and right, I sifted through countless profiles, searching for a glimmer of hope amidst the digital void. One profile caught my eye, a woman named Anya, with raven hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to gaze into my soul. Her bio promised adventure and a connection that transcended the limitations of distance. Intrigued, I sent her a message. Days turned into nights as we exchanged messages, sharing our hopes, dreams, and fears. Anya's words flowed like honey, weaving a tapestry of desire and anticipation. She claimed to be a freelance writer, living alone in a secluded cottage on the edge of a dark forest. As our bond grew stronger, we decided to arrange a video call. The moment I saw Anya's face, I felt a surge of attraction and unease. Her eyes, once so captivating, now held a strange, predatory glint. "You're not who you say you are," I accused. Anya's laughter sent shivers down my spine. "Oh, darling, but I am who I say I am. I'm just not the person you thought I was." Her true nature began to unravel. She was not a writer but a malevolent entity, a succubus that fed on the souls of unsuspecting men. As she revealed her sinister plan, the shadows in her room seemed to dance in delight. I tried to disconnect the call, but my fingers froze on the keyboard. Anya's voice whispered in my ear, a siren's song that lulled me into a state of submission. She described the horrors she would inflict upon me, her words painting vivid images of pain and despair. "You will be my plaything," she hissed. "And when I'm done with you, I'll discard you like a broken toy." Fear consumed me as I realized the true extent of my predicament. I was trapped in a digital nightmare, unable to escape the clutches of this malevolent creature. Desperate, I searched for a way to break free. I frantically messaged my friends, but my pleas for help went unanswered. The outside world seemed to fade away, leaving me alone with my tormentor. As the night wore on, Anya's presence became more and more oppressive. The shadows in my room seemed to take on grotesque forms, whispering threats and taunting me with their malevolent gaze. Suddenly, a flicker of hope emerged. I remembered an old legend about succubi, that they were vulnerable to sunlight. With trembling hands, I grabbed my laptop and carried it to the window. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the darkness, I opened the curtains and pointed my laptop screen at the rising sun. Anya screamed in agony as the light consumed her. Her image flickered and distorted until it vanished completely. I had escaped her clutches, but the scars of that night would forever haunt me. From that day forward, I approached online dating with a newfound sense of caution, knowing that even in the digital realm, horrors lurked in the shadows. In the dim, flickering light of my laptop screen, I stumbled upon a profile that sent shivers down my spine. A handsome stranger with piercing blue eyes and a charming smile stared back at me. His name was Ethan, and his words dripped with an allure that was both intoxicating and unsettling. Driven by a morbid curiosity, I sent him a message. Within minutes, he replied, his words flowing effortlessly like a siren's song. We chatted for hours, our conversations delving into the darkest and most forbidden corners of our souls. Days turned into nights as we grew closer, bound by an invisible thread that seemed to draw us inexorably together. Ethan's charm was undeniable, but there was something about him, a flicker in his eyes, a hint of darkness beneath the surface, that made me uneasy. Our first date was at a quaint Italian restaurant. As he sat across from me, his eyes held a predatory gleam that made my heart pound. The air crackled with an unspoken tension, like the calm before a storm. Over dinner, Ethan regaled me with stories of his travels and conquests. He spoke of ancient rituals and forbidden knowledge, his voice weaving a tapestry of intrigue and fear. As the night wore on, his stories took on a sinister edge, the line between reality and nightmare blurring. He told me of a secret order, a group of individuals who sought to unlock the forbidden secrets of the universe. They dabbled in dark magic, sacrificing innocence to achieve their unholy ends. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I realized Ethan was not who he claimed to be. Fear gnawed at me as I stumbled out of the restaurant and into the cold, unforgiving night. Ethan's words echoed in my ears, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked within him. In the days that followed, Ethan's messages became increasingly desperate and threatening. He demanded my presence, claiming I was essential to his plans. I tried to break off contact, but his grip on me was unyielding. Driven by a primal fear, I fled my apartment, seeking refuge in the anonymity of a crowded city. But Ethan was always one step ahead, his presence a constant shadow hanging over me. One night, as I walked through a deserted park, I heard his voice behind me. It was a whisper, soft and seductive, but it sent a wave of terror through my body. "You can't escape me," he hissed. "You belong to me now." I turned and saw him standing there, his eyes glowing with an unholy light. His face had transformed into a grotesque mask, his teeth bared in a menacing grin. As he lunged at me, I screamed, but my voice was drowned out by the roar of the wind. The darkness enveloped me, suffocating me in its icy embrace. I awoke in a cold and unfamiliar place. My body was covered in strange symbols, and the air was heavy with the scent of decay. Ethan stood over me, his eyes blazing with triumph. "You are now one of us," he whispered. "Your soul belongs to the darkness now." With that, he disappeared, leaving me alone in the depths of my eternal nightmare. The horrors I had witnessed had shattered my mind, leaving me a broken and lost soul. And so, I wander the shadows, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lurk in the unseen depths of the digital world. For in the realm of online dating, darkness can hide behind the most alluring of facades, and the price of curiosity can be your very soul.